Welcome to our series on insights about organizational well-being. Our question for today is, why are most employee wellness programs underfunded and relatively ineffective? In answering this week's question, why they are underfunded, the reasons include, first of all, that wellness and employee wellness is not a requirement. It's not required by law. It's not required by NIOSH or the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It's generally something that's a discretionary expenditure, and that means that it gets funding if in fact there's some money available for it. So that's one of the reasons why they're underfunded. Secondly, lots of free programs are perceived to be out there, so that the national associations like the American Heart Association have programming that is relatively free. We also have the dilemma that if you believe that you can do this with very low cost resources, you oftentimes don't have a look into the quality of the program or its effectiveness. Another reason that they're underfunded is that few employers know what makes a good wellness program and what wellness programs can potentially do to the economics of the business. Another reason is we frequently just want to do something that we can be seen or can be pointed to as meeting the basic need. And oftentimes that is anything. It's anything that we come up with that we think is going to meet the need or fill the requirement. Employers don't know what employee health really costs them each year. It's in the area of about $40,000 per employee per year. So it's a major part of the cost of doing business, both in the public sector and the private sector. But if employers don't know what that cost is that they're encountering on a regular basis, they don't know how to evaluate how much money they put into their wellness effort. Another reason is that employers sometimes don't receive the economic benefit of savings from improved health. So if they're an insured pool, the pool gets the benefit, not the employer. So that's why many employers self-insure their health benefit coverage so that they can have the direct benefit of healthier employees. The second area we want to look at is why they are ineffective. And there are several reasons for that, one of which relates to the underfunded status. So because they're underfunded, they may also be underfunded because they are ineffective. So it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of being underfunded, therefore you're ineffective. Or if you're ineffective, then we don't give the program as much money and you end up being underfunded. Another reason for that ineffective nature of many of and most of the employee wellness programs that are performed and carried out in the U.S. is that employers lacked a prioritized set of goals for their program. Many don't have any goals at all. And they also lack measurable objectives that can be related back to those goals. So if we're missing the intentionality of our programming and its purpose, then that means that we generally are not going to be doing it in a way that we can evaluate and determine is effective. Another reason for their ineffectiveness is that wellness programs rarely are focused on the right kinds of behaviors or targeted behaviors or on long-term habit formation. Both of those are important ingredients. There are a number of collateral things that wellness programs can do, things like medical self-care, consumer health education, injury prevention, advanced directives, that will in fact have a direct relationship to the claims experience and healthcare utilization of the population involved. Another reason they're ineffective is that they oftentimes use incentives that are too weak and don't have the incentive motive force to be able to lead to high levels of participation and engagement. Therefore, we don't get cultural change and we don't get the kind of general motivation that can lead to a high level of participation and engagement and a high level of corresponding behavior change. And lastly, oftentimes our staff of these programs that are volunteers or they're asked by management to do the programs, and many of the vendors that are providing services don't necessarily have the skills or knowledge to know how to design the program or implement it effectively to be able to produce the results, tangible results of health improvements, risk mitigation, economic return, changes in the way that people utilize healthcare services. Those are the things that are more tangible that wellness programs have the ability to do if they in fact are designed correctly and implemented effectively. Now, for more information on this topic, I'd suggest that you use the following search string or search terms in your web browser. First one is problems with employee wellness programs. The second one is weaknesses of employee wellness programs. And the third is ineffectiveness of employee wellness programs. If you do that, you will in fact find a lot of the literature that addresses the issues that we just discussed and issues that have to do with why particular programs are underfunded and or relatively ineffective. Next week, we will answer the question, what must we do to secure adequate funding for employee wellness programs?